So a couple days ago, I was on TikTok and someone actually commented on one of my videos. You know what they ended up saying, which I thought was crazy, and I completely lost my mind that I had nothing to say back because I've never heard this one before. But they're like, "Hey, your house is really, really clean. You have to be rich." I literally blew me away. I don't know what it is. I've never heard such a thing in my life. If your house is very clean, apparently you're rich? Hmm. Because according to my government, I'm poor. I'm just OCD and I really enjoy my space to be cleaned. But it's still hilarious how someone can actually really think because your house is clean, you're rich. Welcome back to another episode of a Wanderer's Way podcast. I'm your host, Dustin. Thank you for joining me for today. And man, am I hungover. I drank way too much last night. However, I'm still here to provide another podcast episode. And as always, it's on a Tuesday. And today we're actually going to be talking about video game reviews, but specifically hunting. Yes, we're talking about hunting games, and which one is the supreme leader? Which one holds up the best for the modern era, and which one feels realistic enough, and which one's actually more exciting to play? And with that, we have three different games. We have the newest one, Open Country, Hunting Simulator 2, and well, I'm pretty sure you guys know what the other one is. The Hunter. So we are going to be looking at everything about each of these games, especially the Hunter Call of the Wild. That one's a really, really highly rated game, and for good reason. Then you got the Hunting Simulator 2, which has mixed reviews, high praises, and a lot of criticism. And then we have one which is brand new, Open Country, and I literally just bought it the other day. So I'm gonna be able to review this one with the other two that I have played. What I like about them, all three of them, and what I can't stand about them, what I think needs to be improved, and which is actually the king of hunting games. All right, so let's start with the big one, the well-known one, the one that gets all the praises, the Hunter Call of the Wild. So yes, let's get this out of the way. The Hunter Call of the Wild is phenomenal. It is as realistic as you can actually get in a video game that I'm, well, give and take. Because to me, the one thing that's missing in there is what couple games have already introduced into their games, especially a certain Rockstar game. You can sit there after you kill an animal, you take the skin off, you gut it, you put it on the back of your horse. I think everyone knows what game I'm talking about, but that could be a great introduction into the Hunter Call of the Wild. Have your truck there or your a little trailer or something with your ATV, put it on, take it back to your lodge. You can decide to mount it or sell, or, like there's so many things they can really implement to make this truly realistic. But would that really appease everybody else? I know it appease me. I think it's the more things that you can do and the more traveling you can do. Because there's a lot of times, because the maps are freaking massive on this game, but I love them at the same time. It's just like some of the newer maps, though, they don't feel populated. Like they just feel empty. So I've actually been going online more, which is actually better than most online games to me, because not everyone fucking annoys me and everyone actually hunts and everyone plays the game like they're supposed to be played. But it makes it feel more alive, especially because, like, say you're 3 kilometers away, you hear them start shooting the gun off, trying to shoot the ducks or whatever, wherever they're at. And you can actually hear it echo, and it makes the wilderness feel more alive. And I wish we had like the NPCs in the game. I think that the NPCs would have really made the game jump up higher. Obviously, there would have been a little bit, if they had any bugs in there with it. It would probably piss a lot of us off too, especially if they scare away the animals, or they could push the animals to us. So there's a lot of things that I really wish was actually incorporated into this game. But that's just my criticism on it. And being part of hunting, I think they should have introduced fishing, because technically fishing is, well, hunting. So yeah, I think there's a lot of things I feel they can do, especially with one other thing that really irritates the living crap out of me is having to walk or run an ATV all the way around a freaking body of water. Or if it's a river, go all the way down until you can find something to cross. Man, can you give us a boat? A boat to go across the damn shit so I don't have to sit here and run freaking a mile down, like a legit mile, not just in-game mile, a real mile. And then turn, and then finally go back the other mile again, and go up. Oh man, sometimes it just frustrates me. And as I was talking there, I actually thought of one other thing. What I wish they really introduced into the game was seasonal change. So with the time, it actually comes with the months, seasonal change, different animals, how they act, and everything. But with all that being said about what I actually desire to be added to the game, let's actually talk about what's great about the Hunter Call of the Wild, which most of you, I'm sure, have already played. That game is fantastic. It is realistic. Like, the animals' behavior is real. The calls from them are real. How they interact with you. Like, your movements can really change the dynamic. If you don't use your spray, they can smell you from a distance. So they got this game to be very well done. Very, very well done. But does it stack up against the other two? And that's what we're going to speak about. So let's move on, because most of you already know the Hunter Call of the Wild and what's good about it. And that's kind of why I went on a little rant of what I would desire to be added into the game, because I know most of you already know this game. So, do the other two games stack up? So, moving on to the next game, the Hunting Simulator 2. So, Hunting Simulator 2, they have a couple things right to me. The maps are pretty large, but just a tad bit smaller than the Hunter Call of the Wild. But what I love about it is the maps feel populated. Now, the animals don't have the perfect behavior like Call of the Wild does. Animal behavior doesn't seem fully realistic, but it works. But what they got right over the hunter is more of a population. Like it actually feels like you're really in the woods, especially with waterfowl. Man, that is one thing I freaking miss is the waterfowl. Oh, being able to have multiple different kind of birds that you can shoot and catch, and oh, so perfect. And then the other thing they got right was, oh my gosh, perfect, absolutely perfect. And I wish the hunter would change this. Are the collars? Oh man, using that elk collar. Oh, it was beautiful. Like it was multiple changes of sounds, and it was realistic. The hunter, man, I hate them. They annoy me. Using the collars suck. They have like 2 or 3 noises at the max, and nothing changes. Ugh, they're just terrible. But the downfall of the hunting simulator is, and this is the one that I gripe about that ruins the game for me 100%, are the laws and the licenses. And yes, that is a realistic thing. The downfall of it though is it kills the game. And you don't even start off with enough money. So not starting off with enough coins and money wise, you're just pretty much screwed from the start, especially if you made a mistake and didn't even know it. Because when I first jumped, I've restarted the game like 3 different times to restart the career just because of the bull crap. And I'm like, okay, well, this time I'm not buying this license to go for this because of this. And it's so frustrating. And then, they do have a good thing with the dog. Over the hunter, they incorporated the bloodhound in it and everything. But man, I hate that damn dog. I'd remove that DLC from the hunter because it sucks so bad. The dog does nothing. Like, literally, nothing. But the hunting simulator, that dog actually searches, finds, and literally, I follow that. And it even tells me, hey, the dog lost a trail or something. And you can get them back on the trail, and they'll actually keep searching. And you can end up where you need to be. So, dog's way better in this hunting simulator, let me tell you. But man, those licenses and laws added in there really ruins the game. And I don't know how else to state it, but it ruins it for me. And I can live with the graphics not being the best. Because, if you're playing on console, the graphics are always less, except for the newer consoles now. But like Xbox One, PlayStation 4, graphics are always going to be superior or inferior to the PC games. So, but I lived with that. I love the ambience noise. Oh man, I just don't like the regulation based on there. That realism, I feel, should have an option to shut off. The licenses, I don't think they should be included. Especially the licenses where it's like, well, you can only shoot 10. If you're gonna incorporate licenses into a video game, dude, that needs to be unlimited. Means I can shoot this animal anytime. See, that's the one thing I like about the hunter. There are no licenses. I can go out, find something, shoot it, and it just makes more sense for a video game wise. Other than that, it's a pretty decent game. It really is. But how does the newest one called Open Country stack up? Well, that game is definitely mixed. Like, there's so many good things about it, so many ways it can go, but there's so many things that kind of brings it down. So, starting out, it is, if for you wanting to hunt, it's pretty fun. really is. And it's a beautiful looking game. Holy moly, is it a beautiful looking game. So, and it has that realism in the appearance. So, like, you're trying to find a squirrel or a rabbit or something like that. You gotta really look. You're gonna miss it, nearly step on it, and you're not gonna have time to shoot it. Like real life. You don't see it sometimes with the shadows and the shading. I like it. I'm not a realism guy like that. But it's fun like that. And the great thing about the game, because it's open country, is you actually have a full simulator based for living in the woods and taking care of yourself. If you get injured, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta find fire. There's a lot of awesome things for this game. But what really draws it down is, for example, if you need to try to find a branch, even though there's a million branches on the damn ground, and there's a million trees right there, you're in the woods. You can't find a branch. What? Like, who thought that was a good idea? Hey, need to find some branches, some firewood, so you can start a fire, or you're gonna freeze and die tonight. Oh, here's huge thick woods and branches all over the ground, but you're not allowed to use them. Yeah, that's no, that's not how it works, dude. No. Seriously. The person that came up with that idea needs to be fucking smacked straight across his face. Like, you can't make a game like that. You can't make a game where you're in the woods with branches all over the ground and all these leaves. That's another thing too. If you gotta find leaves and there's piles of leaves everywhere, you can't get them. Seriously. And so there's a lot of those kind of decisions and shit in open country that really brings down the game. It really ruins it. I'm sorry, but if you're in the woods, trees, leaves, those should be abundant. Simple as that. Now, rocks, give and take where it's at. If you're at a creek bed, yeah, you should be able to find as many rocks as you fucking want there. Or stones, however you want to call it. So, how does it stack up to the Hunter and Hunting Simulator? It would have been great, but it pretty much got downgraded. So which one is the king here then? Which one is the best? You all already know the king of the hunting games. The Hunter Call of the Wild. There's no contest right now. Each of the other two games has several things that ruins the game. Ruins the fun, ruins what could make it so much better. And then you've also heard what I feel should be included into the game for the Hunter Call of the Wild. What I feel would have made it even a step higher. But that's just my opinion. With that being said, I'd like to hear what you guys think about all three games. What you wish actually was added into the games. And what you think is your favorite part of all the games. With that being said, you guys have a wonderful week.